what I do now is trying to support as many as possible my relative who really having difficulty to go to school to education.
I'm hearing so much similarity between you and my parents, especially my mom, who she also, she used to tell us, I remember growing up, and she's like, do you know, when I was your age, I had to walk 2 hours to get to school. Do you know how grateful you should, I don't know if you or your wife do the same thing to your kids, but I had that growing up, I had a dragon mom. I had a mom who was like, you should be grateful you can sleep in a nice house, I used to walk to, going past the rail tracks, and we used to write down everything on a slab of rock, with a chalk and everything.
It's interesting. Some of the kids, my kids, sometimes kind of addicted for me to share the story. Yeah, please tell the story. Please tell the story.
It's inspirational.
Yes, and again, I'm thankful. I'm grateful because not all the kids are comfortable to be brought to the village, but many of them are really. I want to listen. I want to hear that, because I think many people who grow up from the poverty.
Yeah.
The scare number one is about the second generation, the next generation, because the next generation living in comfortable way.
Yes.
Wake up in the morning, there is breakfast on the table, somebody take care of the rooms. So the survival, the struggle is could be weakening, and I force it, I emphasize it to my kids. Look, this is the trap. I had a bad experience, and I don't want you to have the similar experience. Then I will tend to to make you a comfortable life. Then you lost the struggling capability,
the perseverance, the tenacity to go after.
Yeah.
But and that's probably why I figured my mom's just tough on me on that, because she always reminds us. She remembers where she came from, just like the way you're talking about it now. She's like, it's about, yes, grateful, but that's why from the youngest age I can remember, she would bring us to the villages, to the urban poor communities, and it's like, look at this. It's like you gotta it's kind of like now everybody knows it as a Spider-Man quote, but I'm pretty sure it went way before that. Okay, but with a lot of power comes big responsibility. Yes. Now I want to go back to a little bit of what you said specifically with the education system, and we talked about this before when we were both with the presidential election. We're all both on the same team. We're all both getting frustrated with the same issues. And one of them, for me personally, is about the education system here in Indonesia. Mainly because, and I mentioned this as well in my introduction video, it's, how we're taught to memorize. Now, the other aspect is also about the teachers, the educators.
Yes.
Here in Indonesia, the educators, mostly the teachers, are civil servants, right? PNS.
For the state school, yes.
For the state schools, which most of Indonesians go to, you know?
Yeah.
Now, another issue that we're talking about, of course, is the standard of teachers. I love hearing your story, and I do not blame, or I'm grateful that your children always, tell you to share the story, because you don't get that many stories nowadays of teachers being personal heroes to push you forward. I mean, we've heard this from, I think I hear it all the time from Anies as well. Pak Anies, always talks about how, you know, this teacher and that, because he was a teacher, he was a professor, you know. So he does put a lot of emphasis on that. But now I'm hearing it from you. But what do you think is the situation with our education system now? You know, with the teachers that we have, what's the biggest challenge you think that we're facing that's to do with the education system? Why are we still having problems with, you know, because education is kind of like the foundation, the basis for everything else. It goes into jobs, you know, it translates to job creation, not just the jobs themselves, you know. So what's your take? What's the biggest issue in terms of the education system?
To be fair, this country is very big, very complicated, very diverse, and no one. It is always not easy for anyone who is in charge in the system, in the sector, even in the country. So we have to be fair. But I witnessed the development from my childhood to I'm now having granddaughter even. Saya sudah punya cucu.
Yes, you have grandchildren.
So I think there is development, but because of the size is so big, so we are trapped into the simple standardization, as if once we make a standard, then the rest can follow the standard. In reality, I think the best education is if we can personalize the touch to the students.
So you agree with what Nadiem, the Minister of Education, is doing with, and we talked about this. That was one of the things that we were pushing forward is getting rid of the standardized test. And so I think, I guess we're saying we do agree with that to make sure that it's a little bit more custom made.
Right. The standardization is still needed, but we need to put the element of personalizing the touch to the students. So when I was called by the president to be minister, I was alone. Then after a while, single fighter.
Let's talk with Sarah.